So Beyonce made Cowboy Carter before she made Renaissance, which makes a lot of sense. When Renaissance first came out, I said, this album's good, but it's not great. Cuff It was great, Break My Soul was great, but it didn't feel complete to me, and there's a reason. She put her heart and soul into Cowboy Carter first. Now, if you don't know the origin story is more than 5 years ago, Beyonce was at the CMAs with the Dixie Chicks, and they had a great time. But the good old boys did not want Beyonce there at the CMAs, and she faced a lot of racism from them dudes. This racism thing is so stupid. It has to stop. So she took all that pain that she had from that time period and put it into Cowboy Carter, which is an opus of black country music and just black music in general. It's a nice document of a small history of black music. It's really really good. So let's get into some of the tracks. American Requiem. If Pam Grier made a western during the blaxploitation era, American Requiem would have been the theme song. And it might have been when Clint Eastwood made his spaghetti westerns back in the 60s. It's the same type of cinematic type song that would play for Clint's movies. And the same thing, I could see Pam Grier on a horse shooting dudes, avenging her sister's death. Because that song has a very cinematic feel to it. And at the end of the album, you have Amen. And Amen feels like that's a song that would have closed that same Pam Grier movie. So American Requiem and Amen, perfect bookends. The Smoke Hour with Willie Nelson. I did not have Willie Nelson on my bingo card being on a Beyonce album. Dolly Parton for sure, and Dolly pops up a couple of times on the album, but not Willie Nelson, which is fantastic because I love Willie. But the best thing about the Smoke Hour Part 1 is that someone is turning a dial on the radio, and Beyonce takes you down the trip of old classic black music, and you get old gospel, old black rock, old rock and roll, old R&B. And it's a fantastic tour. It's like she's telling her fans, I know you love me and I love you, but I didn't start this thing. There are people that I'm saying this is Beyonce. I wasn't even alive when these artists were out. But I want you to check out who these people are, because they laid you. If you think I'm great, listen to the people who came before me. And I think that's what she's saying. So what was that? The Smoke Hour, fantastic. Bodyguard and Old Louisiana, both songs remind me of Prince. I feel like Beyonce was going through a Prince thing right there. Bodyguard reminded me of Take Me With You. Old Louisiana used a sped up voice, which was really good because it was kind of slow and kind of funky. And it reminded me of when Prince used the Camille voice for Erotic City and If I Was Your Girlfriend. Not the same sounding voice, but it's a very cool, funky song, but it does remind me of Prince. Blackbird and Jolene. I'm a Beatles fan, so I know Blackbird. I'm a Dolly Parton fan, so I know Jolene. Beyonce did a good job on both songs. If you never heard either song before, even though Miley Cyrus just did Jolene a couple years ago, if you never heard either some of these songs, she did a really good job. But it's hard to top that Beatles version. And it's really hard to top Dolly Parton's Jolene. A lot of people have remade Jolene. That ending groove on Jolene when the guitar plays out and just Dolly's delivery, you just can't top the original Jolene. But Beyonce did a good job. And once again, I hope people will go investigate the Beatles and Dolly Parton. And you might not even like them, but at least be exposed to them. Spaghetti. This is Beyonce's way of saying, like, listen, you might not like any of these tracks I'm doing, but I'm giving you Spaghetti. And Spaghetti could have been on any Beyonce album. Any Beyonce album. This is a traditional Beyonce track. So for urban radio who don't want to play anything else, she's giving you that Spaghetti. Two Hands to Heaven reminded me of Destiny's Child. Kelly and Michelle not on the album, but this track reminds me of the inspirational type of Destiny's Child song. And it also is a track that I think a lot of club DJs will remake down the road. It's a very dance, cool dance vibe to it. I think there's going to be a lot of remixes to it. Let's hit the three country songs: Alligator Tears, Just for Fun, and Levi's Jeans. Alligator Tears sound like a song that Kelsey Ballerini or Carrie Underwood or Maren Morris or any of those gals can remake. It feels like a strong female country song, and somebody's going to do that song in concert. I don't know who, but one of them, somebody is going to do that song because it's a pitch perfect country female song. Levi's Jeans and Just for Fun. Just for Fun is a song she did with Willie Jones. Levi Jeans that she did with Post Malone. These are two traditional country music songs that could be played on country music right now. But Beyonce did something very interesting. She said, listen, you might not play this song with me and Willie Jones, even though you should, but you sure gonna play this song with Post Malone. Because that song, if you turn on any country station, some guys talking about a girl in them jeans, and that's it. That's a traditional male country song in 2024. And it'll be crazy for country radio not to play this song with Post Malone. Because that's all they play. girls drink jeans, drinking. It's a classic country song of 2024. See, Yaya could have been Act 3. Act 3 set to be a rock album, and Yaya reminds me of Hey Ya a little bit. So Yaya could have been on that album, but it's good as on here. Riverdance. Riverdance reminds me of Madonna's Don't Tell Me, which came out back in 2000, but the groove is sped up. Another song that could be remixed. Hey, whoever I date next, whoever becomes the next gal in my life, if she said her favorite song is Riverdance, we need to talk. Because those lyrics, if you heard the lyrics, yeah, we need to talk. Desert Eagle. Desert Eagle is the funkiest song on the album. And Glamour Magazine was saying like it gave them Thundercat vibes. Thundercat was an excellent bassist, but Thundercat did not create the bass. When I hear that song, Desert Eagle, I hear Rufus and Shaka Khan. I hear Larry Graham. I hear Slave and Steve Arrington. I hear Bootsy Collins. It's the funkiest song on the album. It's going to get a lot of love from urban radio. But Glamour, Thundercat did not create the R&B bass. Do your homework. Sweet Honey Bucket. There's a point in Sweet Honey Bucket where I said, man, part of it sounds like NERD. And damn it, it is. Pharrell Williams produced that track. And NERD is Pharrell Williams and Chad Hugo. They made 3 great albums in the 2000s. Please go check those out. And they made an album recently, like 5 years ago, I think. That jangling on that song, man, it's fantastic. Oh yeah, I forgot about Two Most Wanted. Two Most Wanted with Miley Cyrus will be a song that I think there'll be a lot of TikTok clips where if there's an engagement or people walking down the aisle, they got that lyric, "I'll be your shotgun rider till I die." It's the new ride or die chick of 2024. It's the numbers on YouTube is already going crazy, but I can see a lot of ladies using that song if they get engaged or if they're getting married. It's a very lovey-dovey song, very lovey-dovey song. So I hope Beyonce gets nominated for the Grammy for this, but I'm torn because I feel like I don't want the Grammys to nominate her and screw her over again, like they've been doing what they did with Lemonade and then with Renaissance. Some part of me wish she would just do what The Weeknd did after The Weeknd snubbed him for After Hours. He said, screw it, I'm never going to put my album in again. And part of me feels like maybe she'd do the same thing after they've screwed her before. But I want her to get her due. And it basically right now is the album of the year. That might change because we're only in March, but it's Cowboy Carter is clearly the album of the year so far. And the thing that made this album great is that she put Linda Martell on this album. Linda Martell is the first Black female country artist to hit the charts in country music, and Beyonce featured her a few times on that album. And the beautiful thing is Linda Martell finally gets her due, but Beyonce says, listen, I'm not here by myself. This woman paved the way for me, which shows you what a great artist Beyonce is. And I'm not a Beehive person who says, oh man, Beyonce's great all the time. Like, no, I criticize Beyonce from time to time, musically, which is fine. That's what you're supposed to do with artists. But the thing that makes her iconic on this album is that she not only takes you down the road of Black music, but she gives thanks to a person in Linda Martell who never got her due. And this is why Beyonce is one of the most iconic people ever, because yeah, she's an icon, but she's not afraid of giving thanks to her elders. And that's something that young folks should do more often in 2024.